Ahead on NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen.
For cattle producers, access to credit can be essential. We'll talk about keys to improving your farm credit worthiness. Plus, we'll head to Wyoming to learn about improving the cut quality of your hay crop.
And now, NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen with host Kevin Oxner.
Hello and welcome. I'm Kevin Oxner. If you're looking for the best in cattle industry information and education, you're in the right place right now with NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen. Leading our news this week, there's still time to comment on the Environmental Protection Agency's proposed rule to expand its authority to regulate waters of the United States. The comment period has been extended until November 14th, and NCBA is urging all cattlemen and women to submit comments against the proposed rule. Nebraska cattlewoman Dawn Caldwell says the potential impact of this expanded federal regulation of water is very negative for agriculture.
In reference to waters of the U.S., I guess, as a producer, and we both farm and ranch, it concerns me so very much to think that if we allow or if we are forced to adhere to that proposed policy, I guess, then, what does that open up? And I know that we're hearing right now, farming is exempt from this, or normal farming practices are exempt from what we are scared of. And I don't believe that. I guess I feel like if they put policy in place, it's going to get stretched beyond maybe what the original intent was, and it's going to be very harmful. And many of us, we won't be able to farm like we do now. And not that we can't always be better. We certainly can. But to mandate things that will put us literally out of business is horrible.
Submitting your own comment urging EPA to ditch the rule is quickly and easily done with just a few minutes. Just visit the website beefusa.org and click on the Waters of the U.S. link to make your voice heard. In other news, the National Beef Checkoff has been in place for more than 25 years. And the most recent independent survey shows that 8 out of 10 beef producers believe the Beef Checkoff program has helped contribute to a positive trend in beef demand. As popular and effective as it's been, the Beef Checkoff program as it currently exists is under threat. Joining me in the studio to talk more about the Beef Checkoff program is Terry Finkhauser, Executive Vice President of the Colorado Cattlemen's Association. Terry, thanks for coming to the show to talk about this important issue.
Well, it's my pleasure. It's a valuable program to beef producers, and anything we can do to keep that message moving forward, we're glad to do.
We've heard a lot about the efforts to enhance the Beef Checkoff, and as you think about all the members you represent here in the state of Colorado, why is that effort so important?
You bet. Colorado was the state that had a checkoff program before the national program came into place, but really saw value in having a national program with close coordination. And I think, as you indicated, it's a program that enjoys the 80% approval rate. Most importantly, it has really a return on investment of over $11 to every dollar invested. Every producer pays the program. It's a producer-run program. I think we'd all agree if we could have our private businesses perform at that level, we would do well. And it's a program that's really important in addressing with one voice the value, the safety, the health and nutrition of the product that we produce.
We've had several guests on the show, Terry, talking about the importance of a state and national partnership and having a grassroots kind of an effort where producers are really involved in the process. Now, I understand that if Secretary of Agriculture Vilsack moves forward with his 96 Act proposal, that may be in jeopardy. Give us some background on that and tell us what you think that could mean to the participation levels from a producer standpoint.
Well, absolutely. I think as you look at the 85 Act and the National Beef Checkoff, like other national commodity organizations, they all have their own enabling law. And that really comes from the strong support, as we previously discussed, for the Checkoff program. It comes from a large, major industry that contributes a major amount of dollars with a strategic focus in place. The problem that our members are voicing to us about the 96 Act, which is more of a generic act, maybe for smaller commodity sectors, is that it really doesn't have that producer drive, that producer engagement and governance in it. It's more of a heavier top-down program. It's a program that does enable our local grassroots beef producers to be involved through the Federation of Beef Councils, and it doesn't have a governing body that's so strongly made up of beef producers, those people paying the program. So we've heard unequivocally that producers want to enhance the existing 85 Act, the current beef checkoff, rather than implement a new program that really isn't tried and true and is more top-down and takes producers out of the driver's seat.
You talked to a lot of producers on this very issue. What else are you hearing from our Colorado Cattlemen members?
You bet, absolutely. They want to see more dollars drive into the program. They think that the devaluation of the dollar as it stands now means that we need to bring more resources to the table. We understand that we need to be able to reach out to these international markets and keep the prices that we're currently enjoying at a high level through strong promotion, good solid foundational research, and communication to those constituencies that really support our products. So they're interested in enhancement. What I will tell you unequivocally is they're not interested in taking a step backward, and they believe the 96 Act does that. They're not interested in being taken out of the driver's seat of their program, and they're certainly not interested in having the state beef councils devalued by not being engaged. So we want to move forward, but we want to do it in a common sense, meaningful way, and the 96 Act doesn't do that.
So tell us, if we have viewers watching this program who also are fearful and frustrated with this process, and specifically this proposal that the Secretary of Agriculture may be coming forward with under the 96 Act, what can they do to share their opinions?
You know, this program came about because producers sharing their opinions. They moved this program forward and implemented it. And what we'd ask producers to do is to do the same thing that they did in 1985, and that's voice their support for this program. Let the Secretary of Agriculture know through their local elected officials, their state representatives, their state senators, their national senators, their national representatives, as well as their Commissioner of Agriculture in their state, to let the Secretary of Agriculture know, Tom Vilsack, know that we support the current 85 Act, and we'd like his help in enhancing it. But what we won't support is the initiation of a new beef promotion and research act through the 96 program, and that we would like to see an additional dollar if we could, but we won't sacrifice money for the principles of a program led by producer groups and producers themselves.
Very good. Well, thank you for bringing a state, very grassroots-driven perspective to our show, Terry.
Our pleasure, and thank you for the opportunity.
To follow NCBA's efforts on the important topic of beef checkoff enhancement, just log on to beefusa.org. Still ahead on this edition of NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen.
Our biggest concern is nutrient content, the quality of our forage production, and efficiently gaining weight for cattle.
We'll head to Wyoming to get insights on improving hay quality. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
You're watching NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen on RFD TV.
This isn't a job, it's a calling. Your hard work helps feed the world. Being linked to those who care for the land is our calling. For more than 175 years, John Deere has been a proud partner of the cattle business. That's why we bring you special NCBA member discounts, so you can get the right equipment, strong, rugged, versatile, and ready to work hard. Talk to your John Deere dealer to learn more about your NCBA member discounts. John Deere, committed to the land, committed to your success.
To truck guys, the truck is everything. And when you put them in charge of making an unbeatable truck, good things happen. This is the Ram 1500, the 2014 Motor Trend Truck of the Year. And first ever back-to-back winner. Guts, glory, Ram.
Your herd, your business, your family. You've always protected what matters most, so you know how important vaccinations are for healthy cattle. And with Vista vaccines from Merck Animal Health, you know you're covered. No other vaccine works like Vista. Only Vista gives you complete dual-action pneumonia protection and complete one-dose fetal protection for the entire pregnancy. Protect what matters most. Talk to your veterinarian or animal health supplier about Vista.
As land and cattle prices have been on the rise in recent years, one of the critical factors for those involved in agriculture is access to capital. And joining us now to talk about farm credit is Lynn Scherler. He's the Southern Region President of the CoBank system. Lynn, thanks for coming to the show.
Glad to be here.
Well, tell us, first of all, what is the availability of credit for agriculture and specifically for beef cattle producers?
Well, in summary, the availability of credit to all of rural America and specifically to the beef sector is very strong right now. A lot of the farm credit institutions out there are sitting on very strong capital positions, strong liquidity positions, as are their commercial bank counterparts as well. So there is no shortage of capital to lend to agribusiness and specifically to the beef sector. Coming out of the last 4 or 5 years in a post-recession economy, there were some sectors that did struggle to access credit, but ag was one of the bright spots coming out of the last 4 or 5 years, and so that's attracted a lot of capital, both from the usual suspects like the farm credit system, a lot of rural banks, but we've also seen the entry of a lot of other commercial lenders coming in that are ramping up their efforts towards lending into the ag sector. So as a result of that, we've seen some very competitive pressures on credit spreads. And it shouldn't be an issue for people out there that if they're acceptable credit quality to access the credit markets.
So tell us a little bit about the long-term commitment of both Farm Credit and CoBank to the livestock industry.
Well, I'd say that Farm Credit has a deep and strong historic and present commitment to financing the livestock and specifically the beef sector. Out of the system's approximate $205 billion of loan portfolio, about 16% is related to the livestock and beef sector. So a very strong commitment out of the farm credit system. One of the strengths of the farm credit system is the fact that not only we're cooperatively owned and governed by our producer owners, the fact is that the farm credit system was created for and today maintains a single focus of providing financing to the ag and rural infrastructure sectors. And so that's a strength of the farm credit system. CoBank, of course, is very strong to be affiliated and part of the farm credit system.
So tell us what lenders like yourselves are looking for when you consider financing a beef cattle operation.
Well, there's a little different theme for each different segment of the beef value chain, but as a general rule, lenders look really first and foremost at the management factor, that human element, the ability for whether it be a small operation or for a large agribusiness that's involved in a beef sector. The quality, the depth, the experience level, and actually the proven track record of a management team is the number one most important thing that we look at. The other factors we'd look at the long-term profitability, that ability of an operation to produce cash flows to service its debts, no matter what the industry dynamics would be. It's usually the stronger the management team and or the person behind an operation. It's always interesting, those strong people usually make things work no matter what the industry factors are. I'd probably say the third critical component we look at is just the capital position, the leverage of that operation, that's risk-bearing capacity. When you get into interesting volatility times like we're in today, the ability to ride that volatility through with a portion of not only the lender's financing, but also the equity that operation brings to the operation is very critical as well.
You mentioned volatility. Clearly, we're experiencing some record high prices today for cattle, all classes of cattle and calves. What specific challenges does that present from a lending opportunity standpoint?
Well, anytime you get the volatility that we've had, and it's usually been in this case here recently to the high side, it always produces a lot of opportunity for profits, which is always a good thing. It also introduces a strong element of risk as well. From a lending perspective, one of the most critical factors to making for sure that you can withstand some of this volatility is being with a bank or a lender that has plenty of capacity for you. Whether that means being able to go out and purchase high dollar replacements if you're looking to build a herd, or just for your stocker operation, or if you're in an active hedging program and you get on the wrong side of a margin call, you need to make for sure that lender has plenty of capacity to be there for you through that cycle. You know, one of the other things is that when you get into volatile times, it does introduce an element of counterparty risk. You always assume, especially at the integrity that's in rural America, that people are going to do what they say, but sometimes you get into extreme volatility like we've had. You got to be really careful with your counterparty risk out there as well. And usually when we go through these cycles, there's usually somebody somewhere that ends up on the wrong side of a contract or on the wrong side of a business trade that is sometimes removed from their own doing, and you have to be very careful in times of volatility like this.
So what advice would you give cattlemen relative to risk management in beef cattle operations?
Well, you know, I think the first and foremost thing that I would offer up is know your margin structure. You know, before you can start to talk about a hedging program, forward pricing, you really need to know where you're at, what your costs are, what your opportunities for profits are, what your opportunities, what your downside risks are. And once you kind of have a good assessment of what your margin structure is, then you can look to implement a risk management plan. The other thing I think that producers have to take into effect is the more financial leverage that you have, the more careful you may want to be with your risk management strategy as well. The impact of leverage is both a good thing when times are going in your favor. It can be a fairly harsh thing if it's going against you. So keep a good eye on your financial leverage as well. And that would be my advice to a producer.
Very good. Well, as a Farm Credit Bank's customer myself, I thank you for everything you do for the livestock industry.
Thank you very much.
To find out more about Farm Credit and the locations available in your area, visit the website farmcredit.com. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Well, I think a rancher has to be a steward of the land. There's nobody else that can take care of land better than a rancher. When we switched over to the Purina products, it was a step in the right direction.
The difference we see in the cattle is the consistency of their nutrition.
The cattle hold their condition a lot better throughout the whole year.
It does make a difference that we can see, day in and day out.
There's something wrong. His head is down. He's clearly stressed. He's worried sick about BRD. That's why there's prescription Zactran for BRD treatment and control in high-risk cattle. Get a rapid response plus 10-day treatment and control in a single dose, so you can stop worrying and get back to business. For use in cattle only, do not treat cattle within 35 days of slaughter. Because a discard time in milk has not been established, do not use in female dairy cattle 20 months of age or older, or in calves to be processed for veal. The effects of Zactran on bovine reproductive performance, pregnancy, and lactation have not been determined. Don't worry yourself sick. Talk to your veterinarian about a real alternative for BRD treatment and control. Because it's critical, it's Zactran from Marielle, a leading animal health company.
Welcome back. The competitive business environment of the cattle industry today requires consistent, quality feed sources for cattle rations. Putting up high-quality hay can be challenging, and New Holland Agriculture offers hay equipment to make this process faster, easier, and more efficient. We learn more from Cattlemen to Cattlemen reporter Brian Baxter on how producers can make the most of their time in the hay field.
Feed is often a costly input for producers, and nearly every cattle operation uses hay for forage. Alfalfa hay is especially valued by cattle feeders as a high-quality source of protein and energy. To make the best possible forage, experts from New Holland say producers should pay attention to cut quality in the hayfield.
When you start in the hayfield with a good quality product and you've cut your hay and conditioned your hay at the perfect time, the right maturity for the best nutrient quality, that's where you're going to get your best return on investment for your feed dollars.
Near Riverton, Wyoming, Justin and Morgan Jammerman own and operate Fleur-de-Lis Cattle Company. The pair of brothers custom feed cattle and also produce their own hay supply. The two know that proper cutting of the alfalfa results in more tonnage, better crop regrowth, and a valuable feed source for their animals.
We're a custom feeding, haying operation. We run about 2,000 head of cattle here locally. Our biggest concern is nutrient content, quality of our forage production, and efficiently gaining weight for cattle.
These calves are just freshly weaned, and we want to make sure that they have the best chance to get going. So quality of feed is really important. The calf is dealing with so much. I just want to know we got the best feed available that we can put up to give him.
A successful hay harvest must start with a good clean cutting of the crop.
Cut quality is extremely important, and for a lot of different reasons. First of all, aesthetics, because a lot of producers take a lot of pride in their fields and they want to make sure that they're doing a good job. Probably the second most important reason is tonnage. You want to make sure that you're getting that high value crop off the field, and if you're not getting it all, that's wasted hay. Probably the last reason is quality. In an alfalfa field, the stems regrow from the node. So any stem that's cut off or stringy, that's going to take away from quality the next time you come back into that field.
Using hay equipment that's designed to handle specific crops is one way to ensure cut quality. New Holland offers windrowers with both disc and sickle cutting systems.
There's a big debate about disc versus sickle. A lot of folks are very fiercely loyal to either one cutting system or the other. Sickle type machines cut with a scissor-like action. They cut very close, very clean. They have a reel which you can adjust both speed and position, get down underneath that lodged crop. In very light hay, they excel at a very good quality cut from that standpoint. Folks that grow prairie hay in particular really like the advantage of sickles for those reasons. For alfalfa growers, guys that are doing very heavy tonnages, there's definitely been a trend to move towards these disc type machines because they can better handle those heavier crops, cut more quickly, and get more acres knocked down in an hour.
Covering acres quickly is important to the Jammerman brothers. Lately, they've fought to stay ahead of the weather.
Well, what I look for is time. Our windows are only so big. So we have to get in, get it done right, and quick, efficient. This year has been tough. I mean, it rains every 4 or 5 days. And when it gets rained on, your quality goes down. So we're looking at drying time and everything else, trying to speed it up.
When we look at producers today, it's all about productivity and getting those acres knocked down more quickly. With the disc type machine, you're able to cut more quickly than you are with a sickle. And in most cases, you can double your productivity compared to a sickle type machine because of that ground speed advantage.
Because sickle and disc cutting systems both have their advantages, hay operators have several things to consider when choosing between the two.
I think the real question is it bigger or faster? A Durabine 419 disc head knocks down a big wide 19-foot swath. The largest HS sickle head is only 18 feet. So when it comes to size and cutting width, our current disc models with our Durabine offering actually has a little bit of size advantage. You're able to go faster across the field because it's better able to handle particularly those very heavy crops. Our HS series haybine headers have a real advantage in down entangled crops that are very difficult to pick up. So while they go slower than a disc machine, they are better able to handle that down entangled crop. That's not to say a disc can't handle it as well, but will be times where a sickle machine will cut cleaner than a disc machine will. And of course, those very light prairie type grasses, where a sickle is certainly going to excel because of the light, wispy nature of those crops.
No matter what kind of machine hay operators choose to run, sharp knives are a must. Experts from New Holland suggest that operators inspect discs and blades on a daily basis to achieve maximum cut quality.
Well, whether it's a sickle or it's a disc, sharp knives are extremely important. In the case of a sickle, you have many, many knives. And one damaged knife in a sickle can certainly affect your cut quality. With the disc, there's many fewer knives on those machines, so each knife essentially is doing more work and covering a larger area. So a damaged knife on a disc type machine can definitely impact the cut quality.
And if you do need to make a knife change, New Holland's Quick Max system makes it easy to do.
So the Quick Max system allows producers to change blades more quickly than traditional bolted knives. Inserting the Quick Max tool, you can quickly release the damaged blade. And replace it with a fresh, clean cutting edge. When it comes right down to it, the whole reason we're here in a hayfield is because we want to make the best possible product. We think about, the quality of the cattle going to market, but it really starts right here in the hayfield. For the beef producer, it comes simply down to how many pounds can I put on that animal, and producing a high-quality forage product like this alfalfa here is going to allow you to do that.
Reporting from the alfalfa fields in central Wyoming, I'm Brian Baxter for NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen.
For more information and a look at the full range of New Holland hay tools, visit the website newholland.com. Still ahead, we'll hear from our friend Baxter Black, and next, we'll see how FFA members are learning leadership skills. Stay with us. We'll be right back with more right after this.
New Holland is the undisputed leader in hay tools. We give farmers a wide range of innovative equipment that increases efficiency and productivity all year round. Because to us, smart means providing a smooth, clean cut with faster dry down, plug-free conditioning, and superior bale density. And smart means leaving less hay on the field to feed more livestock in less time. That's New Holland Smart. Visit your local New Holland dealer today.
Sheila Carges. This is my husband Brock. We have two girls, Karina and Jessica. Both girls can pull cattle, doctor, process anything that we need them to do.
Using products that help keep the calves healthy, it helps my parents to be less stressful, it helps them to be at home more, and it helps pay more bills when you don't have to worry about sick cattle.
I'd say 99% of our cattle are high risk.
We've never seen a response due to a metaphylaxis like we have with Draxxin. I think Draxxin has a major role in any operation as far as your viability and your long-term outlook.
And how do you quantify having a peace of mind to take a vacation for a week or leave work early to go watch a basketball game? You can't quantify that.
Important safety information for Draxxin. Draxxin has a pre-slaughter withdrawal time of 18 days. Do not use in dairy cattle 20 months of age or older. Effects on reproductive performance, pregnancy, and lactation have not been determined.
With a rapidly growing population, feeding the world is no small task. The young people of today's agriculture industry must rise to this challenge and provide strong leadership to move the industry forward. Farm Credit recognizes the need to grow leaders and advocates for agriculture. We learn more about their commitment to youth leadership development from Cattlemen to Cattlemen reporter Brian Baxter.
Every summer in Washington, D.C., the National FFA hosts high school students from across the country at the Washington Leadership Conference. Dating back to 1941, this week-long conference focuses on citizenship and developing leadership skills.
It is a phenomenal thing to be a part of the next generation of leaders in the country, and I firmly believe that FFA members are that next generation of leadership. So to bring them here, to walk them through this conference curriculum, to expose them to the people who are currently leading our nation, and to know that a few years down the road, these students are going to be in those positions. It makes me so proud to be a part of Washington Leadership Conference.
The Washington Leadership Conference is really kind of amazing in the sense that what we talk about affects every single person. We talk about service. Our overarching theme is service, and if you can do something, then you can serve others. If you're from a small town, if you're from a big city, if you are the valedictorian, if you struggle in school, you can do something to serve others.
Today, the need for young leaders in agriculture is greater than ever before. With food production demands growing exponentially and fewer people involved in agriculture, young agriculturalists are tasked with an important job in the years ahead.
Other industries are huge and make life easier, but this industry makes life possible. And when you see that only 1.8% of our country is directly involved in agriculture production, we need leaders to not only usher in the next generation of agriculturists, but to promote and provide a workplace that students are excited to be engaged in. And these students here this week are going to do such a great job with the next generation of this industry. And they're excited, they're motivated, and they're bringing back some of the excitement that used to surround agriculture. And it's really important to continue to develop our youth so that when this generation moves on, we have another generation ready to serve this industry.
The agriculture industry touches every person's life, no matter what, whether we are in the city or on the farm, the clothes we wear to the food we eat. This is the industry that is essential to the livelihood of people all around the world. So this conference of raising awareness to the needs around us, another issue we talk about here is hunger. How do we feed the world? And these are the students who are going to feed the world, who have to feed the world.
At the conference, FFA members learn how to value the personal strengths and contributions of others. Since FFA members in attendance all come from very diverse backgrounds, it presents a learning opportunity for everyone.
I think there's extreme benefit in students coming together to value others and learn about other people who are different than themselves. We talk about diversity in many different ways here at WLC, and students learn to value not only people who don't look like them, but also people who think differently than them, people who believe different things that they do, and how when we come together we can create something really beautiful and really awesome, and we can combat the needs that not only agriculture but our world faces whenever we come together in that sense.
And when we walk around town in these blue jackets, a lot of people automatically think that we're farm students or we came straight off the farm, but the diversity of agriculture and the diversity of our members is growing every single day. We have students from inner cities, from urban areas, from suburbia that are coming here because they're excited about agriculture and understand it's important. Students are excited about ag engineering, students are excited about ag marketing, working for food companies. Obviously farming and direct ag production is a huge part of it, but it's really cool to see all the students take their passion for agriculture and involve it in other industries besides just direct productions.
The one thing that I would love people to know about the Washington Leadership Conference is that it truly transforms the way that students think about the world around them. They come here from different backgrounds and different perspectives, but they leave with a world view of what we need to combat. So I think that that's probably the most important thing that we do here.
All FFA students are welcome to attend the conference in D.C. In fact, FFA and Farm Credit believe there is great strength in a group of students with diverse backgrounds, skills, and interests.
No matter where you come from, leadership and service have to go hand in hand so that we can move agriculture forward. And we're so excited to have Farm Credit as a partner, as a company who recognizes that. Specifically when we look at diversity, I know it's something that both of our organizations hold a passion for, knowing that the circle must be stretched wider and we must value every single resource and every single person that we have through diversity in order to move forward.
Here this week we spend a large amount of time on the idea of me, we, do, and serve. And it's understanding your own diversity, accepting others for theirs, coming together to do something so that you can serve. And there is such a diversity of issues and needs and problems that arise in our industry. It's important to accept how our diversities can specifically address certain needs. And it's truly incredible to see how each student embraces each other and realizes the importance of every individual skill set and how it applies to progressing the agriculture industry as a whole.
Farm Credit knows that investing in the next generation of leaders is critical to creating a thriving and vibrant rural America for generations to come. We are proud sponsors of programs that grow advocates for agriculture, and we're thrilled to share the stories of all of the great work that's being done to further the agriculture industry.
Any FFA member is welcome at the National FFA Washington Leadership Conference. It's simply a first come, first serve. We open registration, and any student who wants to come from all 50 states, Puerto Rico, or the Virgin Islands are welcome to. go online at ffa.org and sign up, and we'd love to have them here in DC.
Reporting from the FFA Washington Leadership Conference, I'm Brian Baxter for NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen.
I know the value of the Washington Leadership Conference firsthand. I participated in this program myself, and just this summer, my own daughter took part in this FFA event. What a wonderful opportunity to grow the leaders of tomorrow. If you or someone you know would like to attend the Washington Leadership Conference, visit ffa.org to learn more. Speaking of leadership and getting involved, joining us now is Kate Maher, Director of Membership for NCBA. Kate, you're in the middle of your fall membership drive right now. Tell us a little bit more about that and why it's such an important time to be an NCBA member.
Well, it's really true that there is strength in numbers, and with all the threats facing the beef industry today, from regulations and legislation to activist groups like HSUS, we really as beef producers need to make sure that we have the numbers to defend our industry. We're asking cattlemen and women to try us out. Be an NCBA member for a year. Give us a year with a trial membership, and to thank you, we'll give you a bottle of Dectomax from Zoetis.
Very good. And tell us a little bit about the work NCBA does on behalf of cattlemen and cattlewomen, especially specifically about the work you do in D.C.
Absolutely. And that's really what membership supports, is the work every day on the behalf of cattlemen and women across the country in D.C. Anybody involved in the beef industry could lobby on their behalf for their industry, but when you consider the thousands of dollars and time away from your operation that it would take you to do that, $100 a year buys you an expert, passionate, driven staff that works on all the issues every day that affect cattlemen and women, from trade, transportation, tax issues, regulatory issues, threats from HSUS, and then making sure that we're involved in issues such as dietary guidelines and making sure that beef is still kept on the center of the plate and kept as part of the dietary guidelines for 2015. Educating legislators in D.C. through Beef 101 courses. NCBA members also have access to an array of producer educational opportunities that are going to keep their operations first and foremost and cutting edge to be competitive.
Well, in addition to all those benefits, you and I were talking before the show quickly about some specific incentives that folks have if they become a member now.
Absolutely. We've got some great benefits that our members can take advantage of. It's a way for us to thank them for their support in supporting our efforts on their behalf. You know, with the year coming up, there might be some cattlemen and women that need to manage some taxes a little bit. We have a great incentive through RAM that they can get discounts on a new pickup if that's what they need. Equipment from John Deere, New Holland, Caterpillar, discounts on Roper and Stetsons and Cabela's gift cards, and a portion of your membership dues are tax deductible. So don't forget about that important write-off every year. So join up and give us a try for a year and let us show you that we can not only save you money, but we do really important work and can add value to your operation.
Yeah, and I've got some of those boots on myself. I've capitalized on that opportunity. And finally, Kate, you talk to a lot of folks as you get out in the country and visit with members. What are they telling you about NCBA and about the value of becoming an NCBA member?
Absolutely. Well, there's a lot of optimism out there right now. Cattle prices are fantastic. A lot of rain in most parts of the country. There's a lot of concern, though, about regulations and legislations that are going to affect their business and the involvement of the federal government in beef production. Really, we need our producers at home producing beef to feed the world. We're just going to keep getting more people. We need beef to feed those people. It's an insurance policy that they feel that they pay $100 a year for, and it's the cheapest insurance premium they have because they know that they have people working 24/7, literally 24/7 on their behalf on issues that can affect their business, can affect whether they pass their business on to future generations.
We need it more now than ever.
More now than ever, absolutely.
Thank you, Kate. To find out how you can help unify the beef cattle industry by becoming an NCBA member, call toll-free 1-866-USA-BEEF or visit the website beefusa.org. Still ahead, we'll visit with the cowboy poet Baxter Black. And next, we'll give you a preview of the 2015 Cattlemen's College. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
I'm an NCBA member because NCBA, they look at the facts, they look at the history, and they look what's good for the industry.
It's important to be NCBA members just because of what NCBA does. They keep us informed about a lot of things that are going on nationwide.
The reason we're an NCBA member is we think that it's the best voice that the cattle people have.
Join NCBA today. Head to beefusa.org or call 866-USA-BEEF.
Hello, I'm Kevin Ochsner, host of NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen. Each week, we travel the country to bring you the latest cattle industry news and information. Check us out at cattlementocattlemen.org or on Facebook and Twitter. There's no doubt in my mind that one of the single most valuable learning sessions for cattlemen and women is Cattlemen's College, held each year as part of the Cattle Industry Convention. The 22nd Annual Cattlemen's College will take place in San Antonio, Texas in February. And here to talk more about Cattlemen's College is Dr. Keith Belk, Professor of Animal Sciences at Colorado State University. Dr. Belk, welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
Well, first of all, give us your perspective of the overall value of Cattlemen's College.
I think, in my experience working with Cattlemen's College at several different annual conventions, it is a huge opportunity for producers to sort of see where the rubber meets the road relative to new technologies that have been developed or released, relative to just understanding the financial aspects of being in the cattle business. And this year, I think they're going to have a really great opportunity to perhaps understand a little better how their management decisions back on the ranch or farm has an impact on the value of the products that are produced as a consequence of their production systems. So we're excited about it.
So let's talk about your session. I'm told your session is going to focus on creating more value from market cows. Is that right?
That is exactly right. We've been asked to do a program that we have in the past referred to as Gate to Plate. And we're going to actually have some hands-on opportunities to look at some live cold cows and bulls. And then we're going to have some carcasses and products that result from different management systems associated with those cold cows and bulls. And I think the producers will really enjoy being able to see firsthand what the impact is of various decisions and management techniques that they use, what the impact is of those decisions on the product.
Why do you think this topic is so timely for this year's Cattlemen's College?
Well, I think, as everybody knows, we have prices that are out of this world. We're seeing record prices and pretty much across the board in beef. And that's also true in beef that's produced from cold cows and bulls, and in fact probably more so. As we start to rebuild the cow herds, we're reducing the supply of those types of animals on the market. The demand hasn't went away because the lean beef produced from those cows is used in an awful lot of stuff that we produce in the United States. And so these cows are worth a lot of money. And so I think that this is a really good opportunity to see how just a few management decisions can help producers return the greatest amount of value back for their hard work in producing these animals.
And I understand you have some expert help that's going to be assisting you. Is that right?
We do. We're really excited. Dr. Gary Smith, who most producers will know, is going to come back and he's going to help us moderate this session. Dr. Daryl Tatum is going to lead us down the live cow and bull evaluation portion of the session. And then Dr. Dale Warner, who's sort of been serving as the coordinator on this session, is going to work with myself, and we're going to show everybody what the carcasses and the products look like out of these different production systems.
Well, so you mentioned early on that this is going to be a real hands-on experience. Tell us more about that.
Well, we're actually bringing some cold cows and bulls, probably cows, into San Antonio to take a look at that Daryl Tatum's going to use to show what differences look like relative to the different production systems that might be used with them. And then we're going to actually bring a great big trailer that we have that has a cooler on it and has glass windows on it. And we're going to bring that down to San Antonio, and you're going to be able to see what the different carcasses look like out of these different production systems pretty easily, and perhaps even handle those carcasses and this unit that we have that's going to be available. So it truly is going to be hands-on.
Sounds like a fascinating session. We'll look forward to attending.
Thank you.
To find out more about Cattlemen's College in 2015 and to see the full agenda, just visit the website beefusa.org. We'll be right back.
There's two separate categorizations I put vaccines in. One is those that are labeled for IBR and BVD fetal protection and those that are not. Even amongst those vaccines that have labels for fetal protection, there are differences in effectiveness and duration of immunity afforded by those vaccines. The Bovishield Gold product line has demonstrated not only highly effective protection with the highest level of BVD fetal protection, but also the duration of immunity, and that's really important. Basically, Bovishield Gold FP and PregGuard FP have the same label claims of a year-long duration of immunity for IBR and BVD. Anytime you're building that vaccine barrier, you're impacting the calf health in a positive way. The producers need to work with their veterinarians, understand the label, and know how to vaccinate those cows properly prior to pregnancy so that they can deploy the modified live vaccines safely in those pregnant cows.
Working your cattle just got easier. Introducing the new Vet Gun delivery system, a new way to apply topical insecticides to your cattle. The Vet Gun lets you remotely treat cattle with effective parasite control, so you can do it from an ATV, on horseback, or just walking among the herd. It's that simple. The proven topical insecticide AML Vet Cap is used with the Vet Gun. It works fast to control horn flies and lice while minimizing stress on your cattle. Fast, easy, effective. Vet Gun. Check with your animal health supplier for availability.
We know who made that hitch. We know who cut the steel, who milled the ball, and who welded the seams. We know who tested, measured, and checked. We even know who thought the whole thing up. We're B&W, and we know your hitch. Because we don't make them halfway around the world. We make them all right here. B&W. Trusted.
Elk hunting season, the high point of the year for a lot of us who live out here in the Mountain West. We've been going every fall since we were big enough to pack a rifle. We enjoy the thrill of the hunt and being with friends. A week in the woods, going hunting every day and coming in the evening and cooking around the campfire. The camaraderie, telling stories and remembering the big one that got away. Well, it's a social interaction that's been practiced since cavemen hunted the magnificent mastodon. And of course, the mighty hunter is always welcomed home by his loving mate. In her mind, she can picture him on the trail of the mighty bull elk. Lo, the weary hunter came, no blood upon his hands. His darling wife in sweet relief bid welcome to her man. For 10 long days he'd hunted from ridge to rocky stream with sportsman cronies like himself. Alas, no elk was seen, and he told her how at daybreak they'd light out from the camp and walk until their back and legs were knotted in a cramp, and then how around the campfire with reverence they would speak about their wives and their families and their plans for Holy Week, of politics and health food and hunting as a sport. And then, just for therapeutic sake, they'd have a little snort. Well, she bore his epic saga as wives are forced to bear, but she winced when he said she forgot to pack his underwear. Well, she stilled the mighty hunter. Her answer left him stunned. You must have overlooked them, dear. I packed them with your gun. This is Baxter Black from Out There.
Thanks, Baxter. We'll be right back.
Some call it a come-from-behind victory, an unlikely win, a reversal of fortune, snatching victory from the jaws of defeat. This is our moment, our victory dance, because we choose confidence. We choose Zuprevo for BRD treatment. Ask your veterinarian to prescribe Zuprevo. Zuprevo is a fast-acting, long-lasting BRD treatment that you can count on to get the job done. Choose confidence. Choose Zuprevo from Merck Animal Health.
Whether you're feeding cattle, milking cows, or baling hay, the work on your farm is never done, which is why you need equipment that works as hard as you do. Get the efficiency and versatility you need with Case IH. From farm-all compact and utility tractors to balers and mowers, all Case IH equipment is designed with one thing in mind: getting the job done. To learn more, visit caseih.com/livestock.
It's the official monthly publication of the National Cattlemen's Beef Association. The National Cattleman is produced exclusively for NCBA members and includes coverage of the news and events affecting our industry. From Capitol Hill to the far side of cattle country, the National Cattleman provides information NCBA members need. Every issue includes market analysis, feature stories, and practical management tips. Start receiving your copy of The National Cattleman. Call 866-USA-BEEF or go online to beefusa.org and join today.
Welcome back. A reminder that coming up next week, we'll have a special edition of NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen live from Washington, D.C. That will be just 1 week after the midterm elections. So we'll talk about the results and provide key insights on the policies that will affect the business climate for cattlemen and women all across our country. Join us Tuesday, November 11th at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time when we're live from Washington, D.C. Well, that wraps up this edition of NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen. Thanks for spending some of your time with us. I'm Kevin Ochsner. Don't forget, next week, we're live from Washington, D.C. So be sure to join us then, right here on RFD TV.